Hi, how are you? Good to see you again. And if you're looking in for the first time, I'm happy to welcome you, and I hope you'll continue to watch us every week because every week we come out with a new program. And basically, we continue my life story during the Holocaust and also some comments which I make about anti-Semitism and how we can fight against it to the best of our abilities. So today I want to continue where we left off. I left off with the story of how we managed to live in the daily routine in the ghetto. That is the second ghetto, because the first ghetto was eliminated because 1,000 of our people were killed, and then we had to move into new houses and new locations. And now we're living in a new location not far from where we used to be with a family. One of the big problems we had was where to hide. In the ghetto, space was limited and opportunities to escape and to hide were extremely limited. So I remember as a child, my uncle and the man, his brother-in-law, Zadel, the owner of the house, were discussing what to do. And then they came up with the idea to build a bunker. But to build a bunker, you need many things. You need shovels, you need boards, you need all kinds of things to maintain it. And secondly, the problem was, how do you hide the bunker? Or how do you do it? No one should see that you've built a bunker, because you are always afraid of potential informers or potential spies or lookouts from somewhere. Anyway, here's what the men came up with. And I believe not only my uncle's brother-in-law, Zadel, and the owner of the house, but probably a few neighbors were involved because they were helping each other to do the same thing. They came up with the idea to build a bunker next to the house. In front of the house, there was a little space between the house and the street. And in this space, they came up with the idea of building a bunker in an L shape. An L shape means there was a hole dug into the ground, parallel to the building, the length of the building, and then perpendicular to this, another stretch of hole, another hole, like a corner, was built. So we had like an L shape in front of the house, a hole. The question, they built it in stages, I think in 2 stages. And then it was built at night. In the middle of the night, no one should see, anyone should hear. And they also had to gather from the neighborhood the necessary material for all the shovels and all the wood planks in order to stabilize the walls around the hole. It should not collapse, as well as to build a roof over the hole. And on top of the hole, they covered the roof with sand. And then the idea was to create an illusion that there was a garden. So they took the entire stretch of land, which was now like a rectangle, and they converted it in a kind of a patch of a garden and planted some kind of vegetables and made a little fence around it. No one should enter into that area to preserve and save the vegetables which were growing. So now that we had the L-shaped hole or bunker next to the house, the question was, how do we get into the bunker? How do we get into the hole? Inside the house, there was a cellar. And in the cellar, they maintained all kinds of things. The cellar was more or less like a cooler for in the summer to keep things that shouldn't foul away, and in the winter to keep it out from freezing. So they came up with the idea to split the cellar in 2 halves. And on one half of the cellar where the door, the entrance from this floor, the entrance into the cellar was a kind of a door on the floor. You picked it up, and there was a ladder. You walked down into that cellar. So they put in this cellar all kinds of products, potatoes, vegetables, anything which was perishable and was able to be storageable. And then they split it in half and built another entrance next to that one into the next part of the half of the cellar. And in that cellar, we put in all our valuable goods, the clothing. Some people had jewelry to hide, everything which was really expensive and hard to come by. And then they made the hole from this second half of the cellar into the bunker which was built. And the hole, they made like a little frame around it, and they created like a door, but not the door, it was like a piece of wall that you could pull in from the inside, from the bunker toward the bunker, from the cellar part. And on the outside of this wall, facing the cellar, they made shelves. It was, in other words, it was like a bunch of shelves, one on top of each other, and they put some jars on the shelves, jars of marmalades, whatever it was available there, in order to create the illusion that this was a newly built shelf section. And from this section, we were able to crawl into the bunker and hide ourselves. And the people who would come in to see the cellar would only see a wall with a newly built shelving case for storaging of some things. This took a lengthy time to build. They worked nights and daytime, of course, nobody would work. First of all, they weren't in the ghetto. They were out of the ghetto working for the Germans in the fields and whatever places they were working. And they did it at night. No one should see and no one should hear. And it was really amazing how much they accomplished. And that basement and that bunker was finished shortly before the ghetto was surrounded and attacked. We were all worried, because by the time the attack on the ghetto took place, the bunker was not fully finished, because we had no breathing mechanism installed in the bunker. So if you'd close the door, you literally would choke off the incoming of air. And that's at that stage of its construction, the attack on the ghetto took place on the 6th of August, 1942. I would like to continue on this subject next time when we meet. Today I only want to mention to you again, not to forget that anti-Semitism is a very real issue. It's not an issue of political contention. It's not an issue of ideological confrontation. It's an issue of life and death. History has shown us that wherever anti-Semitism continues to grow without being checked, it leads to death, destruction, and ruination, not only of the Jewish people, but in the long run of time, also the perpetrators themselves suffer. And together with them, the surrounding world, so humanity, pays a heavy price for it too. Hatred consumes, it's like a fire. Unless it is put out quickly, it spreads and burns regardless who's in the way. And anti-Semitism is such a fire. We have to really do whatever we can to put it out. Therefore, we call upon you to join us. We are united against anti-Semitism. If you'll write us a short message, we will be happy to answer you as quickly as possible. God bless you, and I hope to see you next week again.